am here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Go ahead and put your questions in the comments now so that I can answer your questions. Hi there. Hi on Instagram. I see people joining. Kevin, Everine, uh, April, Kello, it's nice to see you. Come join and ask your questions. It's lunchtime. Hopefully, some people are on lunch. You have time to ask. Hi there. It's nice to see you. Aftab, nice to see you. Put your questions in the comments. Now, as usual, there's a lot going on in immigration. I went over some of that. Hi there, Shanmuka. It's nice to see you. Hi there, Rio. Nice to see you. It's so nice to see you all joining. How long is receipt notice taking for the T visa? So, for cases that we filed even last year, we've been seeing receipt notices taking up to 4 months. It's getting a little better now. However, 4 months is basically the expected time. So I say 2 weeks to 4 months to get the T visa receipt notice. Are they doing biometrics now before the interview? Usually they'll do the biometrics before the interview. Yes. Now, it's not to say that it's going to apply to everybody, but for the most part, we see the biometrics come before the interview. Now, keep in mind that one of the reasons why they want to have the biometrics before is because they want to be able to see the background, right? So if you're going into an interview, that officer wants to have the results of your background check ready. 24 months waiting T visa, nothing yet. Now, keep in mind that the average processing time is 28 months now. Now, keep in mind, guys, that while I work hard to get results, and I do get results for my clients, it is not, I don't have control over case processing times. So we work hard to get the results. So at the end of that process, we want to make sure that our clients are happy. Unfortunately, if I could, I would definitely take control of processing times. No attorney has control over processing times. If anybody tells you they control processing times to make it fast, you need to be wary about that attorney or that individual that's telling you that. Now, if the case processing time, your personal case processing time goes beyond the 24, the processing time in place, which right now we're seeing, as with all case types, the processing times are growing, delays are growing because there's so much going on the back end. However, if your case does go beyond the case processing times that the USCIS has issued, then there may be a way to submit a case inquiry to start in order to give them a nudge. But we focus on results, right? And yes, a part of the results is where we can control it to get it moving faster. However, keep in mind, the ultimate result is to get a decision that's favorable to you. So that is what we focus on to ensure that our clients at the end of the day are safe. Like, why I can't guarantee results, we work very hard to get good results, and our firm has done well because of that. All right. Is there anything I can do as an active military personnel can do if my stepson can't get visa because visa pause for Jamaica? Right now, that is very frustrating and heartbreaking, frankly, for some families like yours. This is across the board. So whether you're in the military or not, it is still applicable to you. So no, being a part of the military isn't going to change that. Right now, there's active litigation going on. So I'm keeping an eye on the litigation to see if a court will lift the pause or basically the ban on those immigrant visas. For now, what I am saying though is do not wait to apply. Waiting to apply can actually, and keep in mind, guys, this is also the goal of the administration, is to lead people to believe that with a pause in place or a temporary ban in place, that the person doesn't qualify for the benefit. And a lot of people, because they hear about this, like the pauses and the bans, they don't make a move to apply. But by doing that, you're actually foregoing your eligibility for a certain benefit. Yes, it means that you're going to have to wait a longer time, but by applying, you're putting yourself in the running. So don't take yourself out of the running. If you have a removal, do not bother requesting. Okay, if I guess this person, okay, 24 months waiting for T visa. Yes, and right now the case processing time is 28 months. We have to go by case processing times, and that is just one of those things we don't control. What we do control is our ability to do good work for our clients. Is USCIS giving work permit to people filing marriage-based AOS from one of the 39 banned countries? At this time, those who are from the banned countries, it's on pause. So that means that even in the United States, all benefits are on pause, but still move forward with applying. It's been 10 months and have yet to have a biometrics appointment. Yes, that can happen as well. One year, 5 months for VAWA, married to a US citizen. I look at the 2 year approval mark. So now case processing times, this is something that is controlled by the USCIS. Now, guys, when I talk about case processing times, I'm talking based on experience. I am in no way responsible for case processing time. So when I'm giving you this, I'm trying to be helpful by giving you an idea of the length of time, but it is always subject to change, right? So it's not very constructive to constantly ask for these case processing times to hold me to case processing times, because that doesn't make sense. I don't work for the USCIS. I work to advocate for clients before the USCIS. So my experience can tell me how long case processing times are, and you will always notice that I'm going to change. I'm going to always change it based on what the USCIS is doing. What are the chances of getting a travel authorization approved after attending second marriage interview? Now, if you do have an emergency, you can go and apply for the travel document based on an emergency protocol. Now, second marriage interview, why did you have a second marriage interview? That's a bit concerning. Usually, if they call you back for a second marriage interview, it means that it's a Stokes interview. And that usually means they suspect that there's some fraud involved, or this is a set-up marriage. While I don't know if that's the case for you, I have noticed in cases like that, they do take longer to issue certain benefits like the work permit or the travel authorization. But I don't know what's going on in your case. That's where it's very important to talk to an immigration attorney. Do you foresee the USCIS processing times for I-601A getting faster? Right now, what I would say is case processing times are across the board are getting longer. Do I anticipate it's going to get better? Not under this administration, unfortunately. But what I do want everybody to understand is you must look at the long term. Do not take yourself out of the running or intentionally disqualify yourself from getting benefits that you qualify for because of case processing times. Those are always subject to change. And who knows, we may have the midterm elections may result in the other side taking control, and that may lead to reforms that leads to faster processing times. We never know, but what you need to do is take action that will always put yourself at an advantage, or give yourself the ability to have a plan A, a plan B. Is USCIS still giving work permit while on T visa? Yes, we just received one a few days ago, actually, and it was a 4 year. So these are still 4 year work permits. Do you get tested at the citizenship interview? Yes. Is asylum filing currently still on? And what about the work permits? Yes, it's still on, but keep in mind that they are now working to change the length of time, the wait time for the work permit for asylum. Right now, it's at 180 days. So you apply and then you wait 6 months and then you get your work permit. Now they're looking at 365 days. That was the case when I was practicing during the first Trump administration, where they did do that. And I do think they're going to go ahead and make that change again. So that is a potential change that's coming. USCIS approved I-131. How long it takes to get it? Usually, after they approve it, you should see it within a week or two. 24 months waiting, T visa, nothing yet. Yeah, and that's because case processing times change and they get longer. They're getting longer across the board. How do I fill out for my kid born out of wedlock for US citizenship? So it's going to depend on a lot of factors. One is, are you the father or are you the mother? Believe it or not, their requirements are even different for depending on who the parent is. Who is a US citizen? Sometimes what we have to look at is, now, if it's out of wedlock, we have to look at other things, criteria like how long were you in the United States before having the child, right? Living in the United States as a US citizen. After wedding, how long should I file? So I will say this. You can file the day after the wedding, but you need to make sure you're prepared. And that's what we do. We help our clients get prepared for the marriage-based process. So I have done exactly that. My clients retained me. Then before they got married, they were living together. They had a really good history together, which means they had a lot of evidence. The only thing they needed was the marriage certificate. So when they got married, I got the marriage certificate right away, and we filed basically 1 week after the wedding. So it can be done a day after the wedding, but here's the important part. You need to make sure you have a solid case. Right now, that is what's hurting people, is they're going in for they're filing these applications. No, it's not necessarily too quickly, but with all the right evidence attached. And because of that, when you're going through the process, if it doesn't have the right evidence, that is what's leading to delays right now. So don't sit down and just rush it just to get a piece of paper in. It's more than just filing paper now, right? It's about showing that you are building a life together. How long does it take for an I-130 marriage base to be approved? So we've gotten approvals even just late last year under this administration within 3 months. Now, not to say that's going to be the case for everybody. Every case is different, but we have been seeing them move along pretty quickly. So we're seeing a pattern where they're doing the interviews early on, and then they may make a decision on the spot, or they may, if they have additional questions, or they want to push it through further avenues for approval, like supervisor to their supervisor for approval and review, then it can take longer. But we have seen it come in as little. We've gotten approved on the spot for these interviews. Okay, so if you missed your biometrics appointment, then you definitely have to you have to call them to reschedule or talk to your attorney. I work at an Indian restaurant. How can I get a work permit to the US? So give us a call. Talk to us first. Let's figure out some options. I have an interview coming soon. I came with K1 visa. So coming with the K1 visa, that's great. You just have to make sure you go in with the updated evidence to show, that you're married. You basically file the adjustment of status. So, and just bring updated evidence with you. My case is F2A with the priority date April 2024, and I-485 with October 8, 2025. Any predictions? No, I don't have any predictions. I'm not your attorney, so I wouldn't be able to. I really would have to look over your case. Can I travel using asylum-based green card with my native passport without refugee travel document? Once you become a green card holder, you have the ability to travel with only the green card. So you don't need to have a travel document. Yes, I definitely understand the frustration. The case processing times are really exploding out of control. And it's not anything that we didn't predict, right? This is very predictable, guys. If you look at the policies that are in place, it's only inevitable that there are going to be delays. But what makes me successful as an individual and my firm successful is we don't just harp on the problems. I don't harp on the problems. I always figure out how am I going to move forward, right? And sometimes things are inconvenient. Sometimes things are slower than we want it to be. That's life. But we have to make sure that you're still looking out for yourself and you're taking the actions that will be to your advantage in the future. That is what is going to be important, right? We're always going to have curveballs thrown at us. The important thing is you have an attorney that's in your corner, that's going to have your back, right? That's what's important. And you understand who is in control of the case processing times. How soon after receiving green card can one apply for citizenship? So if you're married to a U.S. citizen, you got your green card through so you got your green card. You're married to a U.S. citizen for 3 years. Have your green card for 3 years, then 3 years. If you didn't get it through a US citizen, then it's going to be 5 years after you've obtained the green card. Keep in mind, there are other additional criteria you always have to keep in mind as you work towards citizenship. Don't leave the country for more than 6 months at a time. You can travel, but just don't go for long periods of time. That can be held against you when you're ready to apply. So remember that. You must, and once you're here in the US, you will meet the physical presence. So just be very wary of travel. And then also think about just your background, right? Right now, they're placing a lot of emphasis on good moral character. So if you have anything in your background, definitely make sure that it's not going to affect your ability to get citizenship. Or how can you overcome anything that's in your background? And some people overthink citizenship. Some people make it harder than it really is. So you may be thinking something happened, you're not going to qualify, and you indeed qualify, and now is the time to apply. Get in touch with us, talk to us about it. Citizenship right now is taking anywhere from 2 years to a little over a year. So, I mean, not 2 years, sorry guys, not 2 years, 2 months to a little over a year. So, how to fill out a child. Okay, so get in touch with us. We've done that for our clients where the child was born out of wedlock in another country. We have done that. So there is a process in place to be able to get that done, but we have to understand what the situation is. Give us a call, talk to us, and we can get started on it. It's primarily done through the embassy. Do you think they will lift the pause on the 75 countries this year? Um, you know, that's a hard question. I wouldn't be able to say that. I mean, if the litigation does work, it's a possibility. However, will this administration lift it on their own? So far, we've not seen them lift any bans. We've seen them continue to put restrictions on. And that does seem to be the pattern and the intention of the administration. So lifting the pause would really be outside of what we've been seeing them do so far. But we'll see. You know, it's supposed to be. They haven't announced a time it's going to be lifted, but um, it's supposed to be temporary while they figure out, the public charge, further how to control public charge concerns. That's what they've said. But okay. All right. So I'm here. Hi there, Damien. Oh, thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Why marriage-based green card is pending without decision, even though ours is straightforward case, Kansas City. This is where I'm saying no case is really simple anymore. And that's because right now, that's what's happening. We're just getting a lot, cases are being overcomplicated right now because of the processes in place, because of even the preconceived notions right now about certain immigrant populations. So that is part of the reason why you may not have gotten a decision. But another thing that I'm noticing is when you are submitting marriage-based cases, family-based cases, it is so important to make sure that you're submitting a strong application, because submitting a weak application, and some people don't understand how involved the marriage-based process is and what it takes to get get the evidence and to be able to gather the evidence. So another thing is, those are the kinds of questions I ask. What kind of evidence did you submit? What does your application look like? Because sometimes that can hint as to maybe they're not seeing enough. So now they've stalled the case, they're looking further into things before making a decision. As VAWA self-petitioner, can I request a fee waiver for all three forms, I-485, I-765, I-131, using form I-912, or are fees required for some of these forms? Guys, there's zero fees for VAWA across the board. Same for TEEP visa, right? There are no fees across the board. So this is where you need to make sure that you are submitting your applications, right? And understanding how the fee structure is. Right now, zero fees for those. Thank you so much, Delroy. I appreciate that. Okay, Instagram. Let's see any questions on Instagram. How easy is it to change from F2 to work visa? What do I need? So, work visa, we need to know, what are you going for? Is it H1B? Is it even H2B? What kind of work visa? Is it an EB3, EB1, and national interest waiver? There's so many requirements when it comes to going from an F2 to a work visa. So we really need to understand, what do you qualify for? Whether you can stay in the country and do a change of status, or do you need to go outside of the country to get a visa? Do you have an employer? Do you not have an employer? Do you need an employer? Do you not need an employer? It all really is very fact intensive, and it's dependent on your qualifications, on the employer, the type of visa, your goals here in the US, what your field is. So, this is where it's important to talk to an attorney. You're not going to get an answer to that question on the live. Can you change from an F2 student visa to a work visa? Yeah, I would say if you're doing change of status, F2 to change of status to a work status, employment based status, it's possible. Do you qualify? We need to talk. I'm going to my biometrics appointment on Monday for T visa. How long after they will send the work permit? So first, before the work permit, we have to get a bona fide determination. Once we get a bona fide determination, then the work permit comes after. I don't have a timeline for you. I don't have a timeline. And as a matter of fact, I don't think it's a good idea to talk about timelines, because I think it's getting people dependent on it. And somehow I'm being held responsible for timelines when I'm just a messenger, guys. 5 years over asylum pending, want to apply for NIW. My case is strong, but after inquiries, I heard it will be impossible to get green card because I will have to leave and will get a tenure. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So you applied for asylum. You've stayed in the US while your asylum is pending, of course. Now you applied for the NIW. You sounds like you have to then go outside of the country to finish your green card process, which yes, that is likely what's happening. And but if you leave, you're gonna get a 10-year bar. It's very possible. It is very possible. And this is why when people talk about getting the national interest waiver, um, it's the person may have all the qualifications to get the national interest waiver. The only thing is they're here in the US, they've applied for asylum, they've overstayed their visa. And so if they leave the country, because they can't apply for adjustment of status at the point, they must go to the embassy for the final interview, they're going to be held responsible for the overstay, and a bar is going to be applied. So applying for a national interest waiver petition is just one part of the process. We still need to figure out the second part of the process to get you to the actual green card. But this is where it's so important to make sure you're consulting an attorney, because it's not, no case is simple right now. Unfortunately, no case is simple right now. And these are the kinds of details that you need to sift through and you need to have a plan for before moving forward, to understand, does it make sense? How long does it take when a sibling files for you? The estimated time is 14 years, minimum 14 years. After interview, it's 1 year, and I haven't heard any feedback. What could be the reason? It could be a number of things. It could be the processing times, they're backlogged at the office. It could be they're looking at additional details in your application. It could be that they're preparing to send you a request for evidence. It could be a number of things, really. Since December, I've an interview, asked for N400, submitted, still no, nothing. Now, if it's been more than 4 months after your interview, you may be able to put in a case inquiry to start, just to see if you can nudge things along. I'm on asylum, have work permit, and if I marry my girlfriend, she is a citizen. So if you are waiting for a pending asylum, now you have a US citizen. Now there's a number of things here. I noticed you said you're on asylum. Were you approved for asylum, or um, are you, are you waiting for asylum approval? There are some details that would have to sift through. But here's the deal. Yes, if you have a US citizen spouse, then applying for permanent residence could definitely be on the table. But the number one question I would have then is, how did you enter the country? Are you currently in removal proceedings? And also just looking at the facts of your asylum also is very important to make sure that it all will make sense. Having a pending asylum, having a pending green card process at the same time makes sense legally. I-130 approved, but wife is from 75 countries, pause, working there with children. Should we start? Yes. So now keep in mind, if they have opened up the portal, opened up the invoices for you to pay, go forward with the process, because you don't want to be in a situation where you stall and you either lose eligibility or you are behind now, right? You waited a year because of the pause and you didn't submit any documents that they were asking for because of the pause. And then a year later, they lift the pause, and now you have to wait another year or another 2 years to get the process going. It's very, very important to make sure that you're still on top of your case, still answer requests for evidence, still submit documents, still file your applications, because I don't want anybody to feel like you don't qualify for what you're applying for. Wow, lots of questions. Thanks, guys. And I am enjoying these questions. Yeah. So I've been in America since 13 years old. Now I'm 40. And I can't wait to go home, but VAWA takes forever. It's really frustrating across the board. Processing times, it's almost as if the people there, it's almost like the people in the process have been lost. The human side of this process has been lost, really. Um, that's where I take my inspiration in advocating for clients before immigration. That's the frustrating part, is fighting against that type of mentality, right? Everybody's a receipt number, a case number, an A number, um, and because of that, processing times have just exploded. Families remain separated, and now we have additional types of issues. The pauses, bans that are also lengthening case processing times. But here's the deal, I don't want to end there, right? In my life and in the work that I've done, where the success is staying the course. In every single case that I've succeeded in, especially those cases that seemed impossible, it has always been staying the course, right? Staying the course, keeping my eye on the ball, every single step, every level of the game that I have to go, I go, right? The length for my clients. This is where the success is, right? So we have this curveball. with case processing times getting longer. But never give up when things feel hard, right? Because I'm telling you that that sweet spot is on the other side. So just keep that in mind, and take action for yourself. Don't be short-sighted. Make sure you're still looking at the long run to get ahead. So just stay the course and have faith and be patient. Um, Would my I-130 from 4/2024 be combined with my 2025 VAWA, making it 2 years in April 2026? So if you do have a case priority date, then they will look at the I-130. If it's based on, for example, that family relationship, the VAWA is based on the family relationship that was involved in the I-130, that they are supposed to look at the priority date for the I-130 on the I-130 and put it on the VAWA process. If I'm in the USA on J1, do you recommend going back to Jamaica to apply for F1? While I can't give you personalized legal advice because I'm not your attorney, here's where strategically you need to be in an appointment with an attorney. Now, going from a J1, do you have the 2-year foreign residency requirement? That's the number one thing I'm concerned about anytime I see J1. If you do, then you're going to have to overcome that 2-year foreign residency requirement first. So it's very important to see, do you qualify for a waiver? If you do, then that may help you. Now, overstaying the J1 and in the process of trying to go to an F1 is going to be problematic, right? So if you're going to end up overstaying your J1, you need to look at getting the visa in your home country. But this is just very general. It just depends. When I'm talking to clients in appointments, I need to understand their goals as well. I need to understand the background. Where are you now with J1? Is it going to expire? Is your time going to be up next month? Because if it's going to be up next month, you don't really have time to be switching to F1 status, right? So that's going to also play a role in determining whether you have to go back to the embassy to get your visa. Ask your question. How many days after changing address should you notify USCIS? 10 days. So what I am going to do for any kind of case processing time questions, go to uscis.gov. You'll see case processing times there. Go ahead and take it from them directly. That is the timeline that you have to expect from immigration. So uscis.gov, guys, go there, go to case processing times, and you will see an idea of what the case processing times are for the case type that you're applying for. Can someone tell me how I can send my questions? Type your question, just like how you type that. Type your question right there. I'm currently on a J1 program, and I want to know if I can start the processing to apply for the H-2B program while I am still in the US. I've been here for 3 years. So once again, it's going to depend where are you with the J1 program, who's the employer. The employer really has to go ahead and sponsor the employee, the seasonal employee for the H-2B. So it's going to depend on a lot of different factors there. Does a 14-year processing period include a sister being filed for? Yes, yeah. So it takes a long time. So if a lot of people are thinking, oh, maybe that's the solution, is I'm a sibling, I'm the sibling, US citizen sibling, I can apply for my relative here in the US. I can tell you it's not going to work. That's not going to work, guys. And that's where I look at alternative options. After they approve the T visa, what happened next? Do you need the GED? No, you don't need a GED. Um, I think that's what you're saying, GED. So I said GED. You don't need a GED for a T visa. It really is primarily based on your experience here. So we want to talk to you to see, do you qualify and get started. Hi there, Shamika. Nice to see you. Why the marriage-based green card is pending without, even though ours is straightforward? Okay, I answered that, I believe. So no case is simple, guys. That's the other thing. Every little detail matters. So with me and my team, we really are combing through these applications to make sure we're putting the best petitions forward, because that's where the success is. It's in the detail. The place I'm currently working isn't a nice place, so I found another employer for H2B. Can I start the process? Give us a call. I understand I want to hear more about your experience with that employer. The fact that you're here on a J1 and now you want to go through hoops to get to the H2B is telling me something is definitely going wrong with the employer. And there may be relief for you. We need to figure out though what's happening. So you can give us a call, talk to us about your situation. Now, can that be done in 3 months? Let me see. So if I found another employer for the H2B, can I start the process? The employer, I would say it doesn't really work that way when you find the employer. Okay, let me tell you this. This is why I really feel like we need to talk. I don't know your situation, but I've seen similar situations. So I did have a client who came on the H2B, came to an employer. When she came, she was being mistreated. She was made to pay rent, but wasn't given the work she was promised. She had to pay fees. And in the process of that, became desperate because she wasn't working. So she went ahead and found another employer, or thought she found another employer, who promised that they would just transfer the H2B visa. Not true, guys. That's not how it works. So that employer picked her and other workers up from this H2B employer, carted them off to another state, and then proceeded to take advantage of them without giving what was promised. My client now has her T visa, right? She has her T visa. Her family and her can now be in the US because this happened. This is called trafficking, believe it or not, right? So this is where I want to talk to you, because if you're feeling like you want to be out of that situation, it's telling me something is going wrong. So I'm going to send the number here. So it's 561-405-4889. Go ahead, call the office. I'm under immigration lawyer Sharifa. Schedule time to talk to us. Okay. After interview on February 12th, I sent another document on 19th of February. Till now, haven't heard anything. What should I do? So did you get confirmation that it was received? If you got confirmation it was received, sometimes it takes them a while. All right, I'm getting ready to head out. Thanks for sharing the live. Thanks for the love. 4.3K loves, and also on Instagram, seeing the love. Thank you, guys. That means other people are seeing information that can empower them in their immigration journey, because that's what I'm here. I'm here to provide guidance and information that can empower you. Go to the link in the profile. So here's, for those of you who definitely want to talk, go to the link in the profile. My schedule is filling up very quickly, and I want to be able to help you. I'm also opening up some Saturday appointments. So if Saturday works for you, those are going to be open. So go ahead, call and book your time to talk, because that's where we're going to be able to look at details and determine what solutions are available for you now, right? All right. Okay, so thank you guys. I'm gonna really aim to be back tomorrow at 12:30, but it's so busy. And I'm so grateful that I could be here to touch base with you. But at the same time, me and my team, we are working, as I'm sure with other immigration attorneys, we're busy. So that's one reason why you need to take action now, get on the schedule. The other thing is, make sure that you like, subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, because that is how you're going to be able to see when I come on, and you can hop on. I'm going to aim to be back here again at around lunchtime tomorrow. So look out for me, but also just go ahead and follow me so that when I come on live, because lately I've been coming on late at night. I've been coming on, this is the earliest I've come on in months. So I'm going to try to keep it up. But if not, you can see when I come on, and you can hop on if you're available too. All right. I did see one more question. I filed a hardship waiver of the 212E myself and need a lawyer to take it over, as I think it was not properly done. Do you do case takeovers? You can definitely give us a call, schedule time, and I'll talk to you about it. Definitely. So let's talk to you about that case. Give us a call and let's talk to you. I need to figure out what is that hardship, and then we can move from there. All right. Go ahead. So if you make sure, if you DM, you can also DM, and then we'll just get your information to contact you to go ahead and schedule. My schedule is filling up, guys. So please make sure that you are taking action, because I want to help as many people as possible, and we are helping as many people as possible. So let's just take action on your end so that you can see a solution and see a way forward. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. And hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.